Oh, somebody told me sleep is the cousin of death. I gotta wake up. So I open my eyes with a dream in the book. I gotta chase him. Struggle makes 100 miles and running feel more like a million. More pressure, I ain't never backing down and letting up. Fuck you then.
Justin, hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining us today.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm beautiful, man. It looks like you're doing great out in Colorado. Are you out in Greeley?
Yeah, I'm up home. This is my house. I'm in the backyard, chilling with my buddy JJ right here.
Where's JJ? Let's see JJ. Yeah, hey, there he is.
You want to say hi? Come on.
He don't want no parts of this.
It's not good out. I took him for a run yesterday. He tries to keep up, but he tries. He just.
I'm enjoying the background, man. I did look at some of your previous interviews. It was kind of just you laying in the bed, just phone flapping around. But you got a little setup for this one. We appreciate that.
Yeah. It's a beautiful day out. I didn't have anything planned for today besides just kind of getting caught back up, enjoying some rest. So, let's do this, man.
Listen, so first thing, we'll just start out. Clearly, you were scheduled for a fight on the LFA card, but the coronavirus, this pandemic, destroyed that.
Man,
how has things been since then? How are you able to keep focus and stuff through all this when we don't even really know what's going to go on tomorrow?
It's it's not easy. I'll tell you that much. It's really hard trying to keep the motivation, trying to keep the focus, remember what your goals are. It was tough, man. We were, I want to say, about 2 weeks out of the fight. And in the back of my head, you kind of knew things were getting worse, slowly getting worse. And you're just hoping, like, man, let me get through this fight. And then the coronavirus can do whatever it needs to do, man. But I was just like, come on, let me get through this fight. It was for world title, for LFA, tough opponent, exactly what I needed to reach my goals. But it was hard. You're trying to stay focused, trying to do all the right things, but knowing that the fight might not happen, realistically probably wasn't going to happen. So it was hard, but we're still training. I mean, we've been training through it all, not as much as we'd like. Still hitting the weights, still getting my runs in, still sometimes I'd have to steal a partner, and whether it was at my house, whether it was at their house, and just kind of getting some movement, playing around, hitting the bag and whatnot. But shit, man, I think I'm ahead of the game, to be honest. I think I've been getting a lot more training than what a lot of people could and were allowed to do. So I'm ready to fight, man.
So you've been cheating is what you're telling me.
A little bit. You ain't trying,
Of course. So along with that, tell me about. I actually didn't really know much about the replacement opponent that you had initially had for that LFA title, who took over from Steve Garcia. Who I was actually super excited about that fight. I had just watched that Steve fight Chepe Mariscal in New Mexico. I was there to watch a friend of mine, Carrington Banks, fight.
Yeah,
and they fought on the same card. So I watched that guy fight, man, and we had talked about this when I had heard the fight announced about how to do what couldn't make weight. He was fat, and just the whole situation. But like his whole attitude and the way he was out in New Mexico, man, I was super excited to bring him to Colorado for that fight. What were your thoughts when he actually backed out and signed with UFC and still hasn't fought yet?
I may be mistaken, so don't. I'm pretty sure he did fight. I think he fought. Can't even think of the guy's name. His nickname's Violent Bob Ross.
That guy. Okay. Luis Pena.
Luis Pena. Yep, you're right. So, man, back to Garcia. Sorry, let's.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm gonna check to see if he's actually fought since then. I didn't know he had. But you quickly, you are correct. He did fight. I don't remember that fight.
He lost. I think it was a unanimous decision, but I could be mistaken.
You're correct.
Regardless, I think that was up at 55s. But me and Garcia were set to fight 145s for the world title. Man, it was a big deal. Dude's tough. Dude's slick. He'll bring it. He'll throw some funk at you. I was super excited for this fight because it was like it's just a fight that people want to see, and it's realistically like two of the top contenders going at it. Just man, winner of this fight gets called up, whether it's UFC, Bellator, One, PFL. It doesn't matter, man. This is the fight that the world wanted to see, and it just like nothing against him, man. Because I mean, I would have done the same thing if I get the call up. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
So I can't bash on him for doing it. I would have done the same thing. It was unfortunate. Like, I mean, I think it should have been me, you know, instead of him. But it is what it is. You know, I can't control that. I can't let that mess with my head. So he gets called up. They had issues. We actually had another guy. I can't remember the name right now since it was months ago. He accepted and then declined. Kind of bullshit, excuse my language. I don't know. Whatever.
Hey, let it roll. Ain't no language barrier here. Let it roll.
And so then we got another opponent. Man, I can't even remember his name now. He's from Brazil.
Brazilian guy.
Yeah, tough opponent. I think he was like 8-1, 9-1. Coming off a big win. I think it was a TKO victory. And dude's legit too, man. He keeps really solid base. It's hard to get him to move and to bite on things. He was a southpaw, taller. I think he was like 6'1". It was gonna be an excellent fight, man. I was pumped. I was pumped to do it. I was pumped to bang with this guy and show the world, like, yo, I'm not one dimensional, like some people say. If you watch all my fights, man, you can see I've knocked people out. I've out grappled grapplers. I've knocked out knockout artists. I'm like, it's so. But sometimes it's just the way it works, man. You know, God has a plan for us all. So we're just kind of trust that he's leading me in the right direction. And who knows? Maybe I wasn't ready maybe I just wasn't ready or whatever it may be.
You're trying to be nice about the whole maybe I wasn't ready and trying to look at it, you know, from the glass half full rather than glass half empty. And I can respect that and I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, let's call a spade here. I actually rewatched that fight from the fight you're referring to, which is when you were on the Dana White's Contender Series fight against the Zach Zane. Again, another guy who had a little losing streak, but then he went on a streak of just KOing opponent after opponent after opponent and had everything behind him. And you went out there and you neutralized you. And the thing that I didn't get is that you did go for the finish every time. You dropped bombs, whether it be you controlled, wrestled, or what have you, but you went for the finish on at every moment. So when you were almost critiqued in that sense from the boss, so to speak, not your boss yet, anyways, but you know, hopefully in the future, absolutely. When you were critiqued with that, is that something that still bothers you and kind of pushes you now to get better and to train more, or how did you take that criticism?
You know, I take it all with a grain of salt, man. You know, in this game, you're gonna have a lot of people telling you a lot of different things. You have some what do they call it, keyboard warriors.
There you go.
Chirping, but they've never fought a day in their life, you know. So whenever you go on the show and dominate somebody like that, then you can talk. Until then, your opinion means nothing to me, you know. But freedom of speech, man. You're free to say whatever the hell you want. You know, it was hard, man. A lot of people didn't know this. I knew my knee was a little beat up going into that fight, so I had to fight that fight a little different, you know. Mm-hmm. Coming to the one-dimensional thing, man, I got a backpack full of tools, and if you're gonna go hit a nail into a stud, you're not gonna bring out your saw. You know, it just doesn't make sense, bro. I got the tools. I didn't have to use them, so why? You know, it just doesn't. So as for that, you know, I try to fight my fights not to impress anybody, man. I'm out there to fight. I'm out there to win, keep myself safe, just show the world what I'm all about, man. And really, man, I mean, like I've said before, man, there's been a couple fights where I maybe been challenged and lost a round, arguably, maybe, you know. I mean, yeah. Humble as I can, you know, I'm dominating these guys. I'm fighting the best I can find who will actually accept the fight and fight me, you know. So I'm just like, it's kind of a rough spot, man. So signing with LFA, I think, was going to kind of eliminate that and get me the highest level opponents I could find who were actually going to accept the fight, push me, challenge me in different ways, make me think outside the box, and make me grow as a fighter and get me seen, the recognition and just show the world, man, like, yo, give me my shot. That's all. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
And that actually led me into my next question. After that, when you didn't get offered a contract, did you get contacted, obviously from LFA, but from other organizations that were potentially interested after seeing what they had seen?
Yeah. There was a couple different organizations, some from out of the States. Just there was a lot of different options, man. It was so it was a tough spot because we ended up having surgery after the fight. Got everything fixed. I'm healthy. I'm good. I mean, cut my recovery time by like months. You know, I busted my ass, dude. Just trying everything I could do to get back and ready and full speed ahead. We did it, and so then we were ready to fight April 2nd, April 3rd, whatever the date was. I can't remember now. And yeah, so it's just like we got options, man. We got options. As of right now, I am under contract with LFA, and I'm ready to fight whenever they're ready to go, man. So my managers are talking, getting things situated, and you know, shit, man. I mean, rolling, dude, and this whole COVID stuff kind of now states are getting rolling. You know, like Florida's been open, UFC's had a couple fights, Nevada's starting to open up. So I think they start, you know, Colorado's starting to open up with some things like restaurants and bars and clubs and stuff. So I'm like, if you can open that, there's no reason why you can't open combat sports, even if you had it without fans. You know, I sometimes, I mean, that's not my job to do that, but it just doesn't make sense. Why?
So what would your thoughts be on actually fighting without fans? Because I'm sure you've watched some UFC events. I actually know you watched the event last night just based off of some of the tweets that you were sending out, which I definitely want to go over some of the fights last night. But fighting without fans, for somebody like you, you bring a massive fan base and a very loyal fan base as well.
Yeah.
They'll travel to see you wherever you fight.
Man, those are my people, man.
Yes. So not being able to have them there, like, is that something that's going to hinder you or hurt you? Or what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I love the energy that the fans put off, and it definitely helps whenever you got a loyal fan base, like you said. And these guys would ride or die for me, as I would do for any of them. You know, I feed off their energy. You know, it helps me to fight, helps me to focus. But like at some point, you kind of just go into this tunnel vision of like, yo, this guy's coming to fuck me up. So I need to put him down before he puts me down. I think the Contender Series fight really helped with that. You know, I mean, I've wrestled since I was a little kid, and I think that's a big part that helps me to perform in front of people. Is like, man, I remember as a little boy wrestling, and just like everybody's watching, everybody's screaming at you, and like I used to cry, man. I just like, and I'm out there trying to wrestle, and I have tears running down my face, and as I got older, you know, you just kind of start learning how to handle those things and just different techniques to help. I mean, shit, man, I still get scared before I go out there to a fight. I'm nervous. I'm excited. There's so much mixed emotions running through your head, you know. But like I was saying, sorry, I got a little off topic there.
You're good. We got time.
We got all. I think the Contender Series fight would really help with that. You know, most fights you go to here in Colorado, you have probably couple thousand fans in the arena, you know, but the Contender Series fight, there was maybe 30 people. So it was quiet. They kind of had rules and stuff for like, okay, now you can cheer. Now you have to be quiet, what you can do and stuff. So it's a different atmosphere, smaller cage. I mean, I think at the Apex Center, the cage is only 25 feet versus the 30. But, you know, I think I'm pretty good in there. It's like, you know, I'm going in there with a goal, and this is what I'm here to do. You know, I can kind of block things out, and things kind of get quiet when you're in there. It's like you hear, but you only hear your coaches. They have like a distinct voice, and, you know, you're so focused on this guy trying to come and get you, you know, it's like, you just learn to channel things and block things out. I don't think it'd be an issue for me. Not at all. I don't think it bugged me.
So again, when you fought on the Contender Series, were you able to have a few of your fans or people that were able to actually get in, or how did that go?
Yeah, they give you a couple tickets to let certain people in, so you get 2 tickets. For my fight, I brought Mike Alirez, my head coach at Top Notch, And then I brought Ryan Schultz, my head coach at Trials, and they just mesh really well. Working with two different gyms, it's really interesting to do that. It's fun picking apart a lot of different brains and putting it together and making it my own style.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's actually one that I wanted to segue into. Talk to me about that a little bit, because I've noticed, you represent quite a few gyms, but yet at the same time, you also travel. You get out of Greeley and the whole area up there, and you come down to Denver. We would have you at Genesis every once in a while for sparring and stuff. Me and you actually had, I actually had the pleasure of actually sparring a round or two with you. Which was fun. So we won't visit. I won't put you out like that. Let's just say Justin did his thing. Leave it at that.
I mean, hold on. Listen, bro, I had your back.
Talk to me about that, man. Like how is that, especially because again, and I'll give you 1 second to answer, but again, in boxing, especially down there in Colorado, you don't get a lot of cross training. You might get a fighter who has a friend at another gym. They'll work together, whatever the case may be. But it seems like it's always a gym on gym war. It's most of that. I see that in Colorado that's not a lot like that, but there still are a couple little, gyms that kind of just stick to their own based on their size and the fighters they have. But, with you actually having two other gyms and a smaller gym, does it help you to be able to go to here, there?
Man, it's something that kind of brings back the whole wrestling aspect is, I met a lot of different people, and it was kind of sometimes, let me think how to, because I've even talked with my coaches about this as well, is it's like, if there's ever a time where I feel like I'm not growing and I'm just plateaued, then it's probably time where I need to move on, and like, I'm not saying that's the case by all, because I love these guys, and these guys are still teaching me new things and broadening my horizon, and the whole loyalty factor. But just because something's different doesn't mean it's wrong, Mm-hmm. That can be a lot of different ways. I mean, look at this world we're living in right now.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? Just
absolutely.
Opinions doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. If it works, it's right, So I'm very thankful that my coaches are okay with that, and they're on the same page of I got my main two gyms and I'm loyal to them, but sometimes you need to just go pick up a different outlook and be able to pick apart a different brain. My boy Jake Ramos, man, this dude took me in under his wing, and man, it's like we're family now, man. We still he reached out and helped me with some other stuff not too long ago that it was just, you make these connections with people, and it's like, I'm not going to fight any of their guys. And so why not? Why can't we team up and work together? And I help his guys spar, and they help me. And then, I go up to Elevation, and, they got killers in there, dude. I mean, like, how many were just fighting last night? I think it was Sandhagen. I mean, Heinz is kind of with Genesis Elevation.
Neil.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many to choose from and so many different fighters. It just makes you think on different levels. You have to try different things, putting it all together, just better understanding, man. And it's like, if I'm the hammer every time, I'm not going to be ready for my fight whenever I find somebody who is a hammer as well, So sometimes you got to be the nail and just take those poundings, and, but you learn from it and you grow. And I mean, man, I remember just a quick story of
yeah.
It was Grudge. Gaethje and Gertz beat the shit out of me, man.
Of course.
4 weeks, man. I'd walk out of there, dude. Double bloody nose all over my shirt, black eyes, bruises, man. I was just like, dude, I had a moment where I was like, man, dude, I don't know if I can do this, man. Like, these guys, like, I'm just not on the level where these guys are. And I'm like, kept coming. And, I could see I started getting better. And then it started being able to, like, oh man, I can land some shots now. Now this is actually like kind of fun. I'd still take my poundings, don't get me wrong. But, and now it's like, I can sit there and actually kind of bang with the guys, and it's like, I've earned their respect, and they take care and they help me. They talk to me about, like, well, this is what you're doing, man. So maybe if you angle this way, or you're dropping your hand when you come this way, and stuff like that, and so on and so forth, man. Those guys really helped me a lot. And just being able to travel and like make these connections with people, and they see things differently. So it's like just being able to look at it in so many different ways, man. If you ain't growing, you're getting past. Plain and simple, you know?
You got that right. It's funny that you bring up the first couple times that you were going into the gym, the type of guys that you were sparring with, and they were kicking your ass, as you said. I don't think you could find two other worse guys to spar and to work with at the beginning of your career than those two who are they're not going to take it easy on you.
No, and they didn't, man. Like, you know, and I saw them sometimes where I'd like, boom, blood, spit flying across the mat. And they're like, ugh. And then we were like, fuck, I was like, damn, let's keep going. Like, oh, yeah, all right, man, part of the job. So, but it's like, dude, they're good. They're on that level, man. They're on the level where I'm trying to be, and in order to be there, I have to be able to compete like that. You know, it's just so it makes sense. You know, find the best you can, and you get in there. And
yeah, you ain't got no choice at that point.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a choice but to grow and learn and put it together. Learn some little tricks that they do, and man, I'm thankful for it because I still use it to this day. So it's I'm very blessed, very lucky to have it. And I mean, there's more. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
I can drop for days, but that's why I jump around so much, man. It's like I got my main two gyms. I do most of my work with them. They know how I fight. They know where I need to improve, where I'm pretty okay at, and stuff like that. But then, like, you know, if you go up there, they tell me if you go up to the other gym, you learn one or two things. It was worth it, man. It was worth it.
Absolutely. Now again, we kind of transition again into the next thing with guys being tough, as you brought up Gaethje, Gertz, guys that you spar with. Who in your fights, and as you kind of alluded to earlier, you haven't really been. I don't want to say you haven't been tested, because obviously from everything I've seen, and even based on your records, the guys you fight are not slouches. They're doing their thing against other guys, but except for when they get into the cage with you, it's a completely different story.
Yeah,
you know, but to this day, who has been the toughest fight for you, if at all?
No, there's definitely been a lot of challenges. You know, off the top of my head, I mean, there's a couple. You know, as an amateur, Alejandro Ibarra, this dude hits like
Alejandro, the boxer.
Yeah, now he's strictly boxing, man.
Yeah,
that makes sense, dude, because this dude hits you, and if he connects, you're going down, man. That I was very fortunate. Like I was just moving just enough that like he didn't connect, but those fucking punches hurt, man. And I was like, whoo. That dude's a gangster, man. He hits hard.
He does, and he's a big guy too.
He's a big guy. He's tall. He's lengthy, but he moves, and he's a hard guy to fight. So anybody who puts on boxing gloves with that guy, I'm giving you credit because that dude drops bombs. Then as you go into pro, there's a couple that come to mind. Enrique, different styles really. So like Enrique Gonzales was really technical, and I wish I would have started doing some of these things that I'm doing now then, because I think I could have won that fight a lot more dominantly now. The things that I know, cage work, head position, being able to bait people into certain things. Now I look back at the fight, and instead of kind of just being able to control him with different like wrestling styles, I think I could have actually landed some bigger strikes now. But again, I wasn't the fighter I am now.
Yeah, you grew, which is
exactly. Derek Brennan was pretty tough. You know, he actually headlocked me, had me full mounted for a tiny bit. So that was probably the spot where I was in the most danger in any of my fights, and just had to stay calm, keep moving.
And that was a pretty big fight, wasn't it? At least the lead up locally, that was a pretty big fight because he was like I believe he was on the UFC's radar and stuff at that time. The guy that they were looking at.
I think at the time I was like 5-0, 6-0 maybe, and he was about the same, like 7-6-0 or something, whatever. So it was a big fight at the time. Like, and I mean, I didn't know who this guy was, and just like I think it was funny because just all the hype, all I heard was, oh, this dude's this dude's that. New York State champ wrestler, wrestled in college. I was like, you guys forget I did all that same shit. I mean, like, it was funny because like there for a brief moment in time, I didn't really care. I think me and my crew were the only people who thought we were gonna win that fight. Just it is what it is, man. And it was like, you know, it just felt good just to go in there and smack that dude around. Like I like Brennan a lot. He's actually really respectful. There's some guys from his team who I actually don't really care for, and I already handled that shit. So it is what it is. But
okay, I was gonna ask for a name drop, but you've already handled it, so we'll leave it alone.
You know, it was just good just to be like, shut up, man. Who's next? What's up? Like, come on, you're feeding them to me.
So transitioning into wrestling, as you said, you know, you did all that too. You were a state wrestling champion at Northridge. Am I correct?
Yeah, I was the 2-time state champ at Northridge.
What year did you graduate from Northridge?
09.
09. Okay, so you missed the big brawl, I would assume then.
Yeah.
So kind of a story that I want. Obviously, since you were in Northridge, I'm not a big fan of Northridge.
Really?
I'll tell you why. So my junior year in high school, my basketball team, we were ranked number 1 in the state.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Adams City.
Okay.
Adams City. So we played Northridge. You guys, you had a nice sized gym. The gym was packed on both sides. Our fans traveled like crazy. You guys in your student section was crazy. You guys were loud. It was a fun atmosphere for all 3 levels.
That's how it should be. I love it.
As it should be. But the reason that I'm telling you this story was because it was a tight little game for a little while. We broke away at the end. Obviously won the game. Student section's crazy. You know, they're yelling, they're talking shit, doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But it crossed some lines. So it got racial.
Oh no.
We had obviously a few black men on our team, good friends of mine. They're actually Billy and Tim Jones. They actually had transferred over from Aurora Central to play with us at Adams City. So after the game, I guess a couple of students or somebody had said something to one of them on the court. Oh, no. One of them had his hair dyed blonde, so they were, you know, they were going in on him, as they should. You know, he got blonde hair. But so anyways, ultimately they were kind of John, you know, standing in front of the student section after the game, and his parents were right there, just happened to be sitting on Northridge's side, and his mom got called an N-word, and literally, like, the stands just completely just compiled in onto the court, and it was just an all-out brawl for about a good 5 minutes at least. It was crazy. And from that point, I was like, Northridge, I'm a bunch of racist cowtown mother. You know, I mean, I was hot. I was mad.
What the hell would you get these guys?
You know,
it's funny.
But so that's my whole thing with Northridge. But you know, kind of just say we kind of get away from that. What was your time like there? And obviously going on to UNC and wrestling there, were they the biggest school that recruited you?
You know, I had options to go to a lot of different schools. I think some of the main ones on my radar were UNC, obviously. I went on a recruiting trip to Wyoming. Went on a recruiting trip to West Point. There was another school. It was in New York somewhere. I want to say it was like Buffalo or something. I can't remember. There was a lot of letters that got sent, and I just had to kind of sit down. And I was like, hey, man, you only get 4 trips. So let's sit down and really think about where you want to go. I always thought, and in my head, I thought it would be really cool to be able to be the hometown hero, which I was kind of already was, but like I wanted it on a bigger level. And now thinking back, I think it would have been really cool to go somewhere else and just go live, um, go experience life somewhere completely different. But I'm happy with the choices I made, man. It made me who I am today. So, anyways, like Northridge, interesting. Northridge at the time.
It looks like we lost Justin. Let me go ahead and get him back. So just stick with me for a moment here. So just bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and shoot him another invite to get him back in. A moment, everybody. Still on here. Do keep in mind that you can definitely go ahead and pull your question or whatever up as well. So I recommend that. So like I said, if you got anything to say, any comments, and we'll go ahead and get all those answers here. So like I said, just bear with us for just a moment. We'll go ahead and get him the Wi-Fi. So like I said, just hey, just want to shout out to everybody who's Alvino, little sis Kim, and then Isaiah doing well back out there in Colorado, except for Alvino. I do know you are here in Texas. So it's hot. I believe yesterday we hit like 110, if I'm not mistaken. Man, it was hot. And out here in El Paso, it's just super dry heat. So it's crazy. It gets crazy hot. It gets dumb hot. Okay, looks like we'll have him back in just a moment here. Now we'll go ahead and continue with where we were. We're going to go over the last night's UFC card as well. I want to go over some of the Colorado fighters' fights with him, obviously, since he is local and a Colorado guy. So we'll go over those with him and get it going from there. So like I said, just bear with me for just a second. We almost got him back going. You kind of got to teach these folks how to get on this thing. A lot of these people think it's just a FaceTime interview, not knowing it's actually through a streaming site. So it's a little difficult to get through. It takes a little bit of time. So everybody who's still in here, chime in last night. What did you guys think about last night's UFC fights, if you did see them? We had a dominant performance from Amanda Nunes, who fought Felicia Spencer. Didn't really even feel that Felicia Spencer should have even been in the cage with Amanda Nunes at that point. There's a lot of levels, and I believe the level that she's on is just, crazy compared to any other woman who's fighting right now. I would love to see her rematch Valentina Shevchenko again, who I believe she already beat twice. And it looks like we got Justin back here.
Sorry about that.
Justin, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. This is a lot better.
Oh man, it must be that Greeley Wi-Fi.
Damn it.
Yeah, no, man, it's just Greeley. It ain't Xfinity, it's Greeley.
I put this city on my back, man. I love this place. You be careful.
Yeah, so talk to me about that, man. I'm not a big Greeley fan. Again, I came from Denver down in the actual city. So Greeley, it stinks. Smells like cow shit. In and out.
Greeley,
Why you love home so much?
you know, just this place is growing on me, man. I lived a lot of different places growing up. We moved a lot, just parents working, parents split up whenever I was a little bit younger. So I bounced around a lot. And I think probably explains why I kind of am the way I am today, you know. I like Greeley, man. Just, I don't know, probably not a super big city, but it's got everything you need, man. It's still considered a city life instead of more of a country life. If you want to go anywhere, man, you can get to Denver hour and 10 minutes, depending on time of day. You want to go shooting, you can go shooting, man. You want to go to Fort Collins, about 40 minutes away, 35 minutes, depending where you're going. I love it here, man. Probably about, I don't know, I want to say it's like 120, 130,000 people maybe. A little bit about the city. Probably predominantly white, Hispanic. There's starting to see some protests going on and stuff. It was funny. I was driving past Home Depot and my buddy hits me up. He's like, dude, I was leaving Home Depot and they're boarding up. I decided to stop by, just do a little drive-by, check it out. They're putting pallets of those like 80, 60-pound bag concretes, stacking them up. So I'm curious to see if any of that starts happening. I think just I've been here so long, man. I just met so many people and just a lot of different things you can do, man. Like yesterday, went out to the lake. We took the boat out, you know. I think next weekend we might take the jet skis out. You want to go camping? It takes you an hour and a half to go camping, man. It's just whatever you want to do, man, you can find it. You know, if you want to go join the gangs, man, it's not too hard. It's just the life that you want. You can make it happen here. So,
have you been obviously with you being in Greeley too? Have you guys kind of been, I guess, staying inside a little more? You said you just took the boat out and stuff this past weekend, so you're clearly out getting a little more active. But you know, has a lot of people still been staying in, or do you see things kind of opening up more?
So it's funny, you know, there for a while, man, shit got real. Like you didn't see anybody outside. You barely saw people at the stores. And it was, you know, for the most part, my life didn't really change that much. Like it definitely slowed down a lot, but, like I was still working. My job's considered essential. So I was still working. I was still kind of training. And I mean, then like, you know, I'd go see my friends a little bit. They'd kind of still come over, you know, it wasn't like a party. It wasn't like a big group of people, but I would still see my family for the most part. You know, we kind of stayed away from my grandparents for the time being, just for their safety and stuff. But, you know, it just, it's interesting. It really makes me think on the people who like, what about the people who are here who don't have family here? What about the people who are stuck in a lease and they can't really go back home? Maybe their jobs got shut down and what they're all by themselves. Like that's where people start losing their shit, you know? And
yeah,
I don't know. So for me, my life didn't change that much, you know? My girlfriend was kind of staying with me for the time being. She lives in Fort Collins, but she works here in Greeley. So it just kind of made sense. And her roommate works all the time. So she was like, I just don't want to be home alone all by myself. You can go stay with us, man, you know.
And you have roommates yourself, right?
Yeah. I got a couple roommates. One of them is a good friend, man. We're one of my best friends in the whole world, man. We met each other when we were little kids. And then we ended up going to the same high school, and that's kind of where we started like reconnecting. Like, that's where I met you. We met each other. We had wrestling tournament, little kids, and now so he rents out the basement, and then I got another kid who just moved in. He's about to go to school, so if things start up and running again, that's his plan. So, you know, I kind of like to meet people. It gives me something, just mix up my life, you know, gets me out of my normal routine, kind of opens my mind to new different things of different people, you know.
So and you were talking about earlier, like you said, at the Home Depot, they were kind of boarding up for some potential protests and a potential riot. What are your thoughts on this whole George Floyd situation, and kind of what's your stance on everything that's been going on over the past few weeks?
Man, that's a really hard thing to comment on, just because there's so many different emotions, and some people are so hard-headed that it's their way or no way. So from my stance, man, I want to reach out to the family, and man, I'm sorry for your loss and the things that happened. What happened was not okay. It's you. There's a lot of evil in this world. We live in a fucked up world right now.
Yeah.
What that cops are trained in a certain way, and it's funny because I get some insight from one of my buddies. He actually just graduated the police academy. That's kind of why we went out to the lake yesterday. We were just celebrating him graduating and stuff.
Nice, congratulations.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I'm very happy for him. He told me, he's like, the first thing is you're never supposed to put your knee on somebody's back or their neck. Plain and simple, cut and dry. You're trained. There's a lot of things you can do and you can't do, and that officer didn't do it by the book. So he should be prosecuted pretty hard, man. I mean, you took somebody's life because you didn't follow your rules, and and then it gets into a bigger picture of because he was black. And I mean, I started doing some research, actually looking. US is heavy, predominantly white, so as with that, it would come that more white people are shot by cops, but that's not the point. The point right now is like the whole Black Lives Matter movement and just the social injustices and stuff. It's really hard, man, because you can't generalize a population or a certain group of people based on one person or even four people. There's evil out there, man. Some people are just pieces of shit. There's good people, there's bad people, and that guy he's evil, man. Did some bad things, and now he's gonna live the rest of his life in jail, prison. So he kind of got what he deserved, man. And I just, man, it's like, I mean, I don't know if many people will read this and respond to this, but or listen, but it's like, man, we're all one. Color exists. I see color, but that's not how I judge people on. I judge people on their actions. I judge people on what they do and how they treat other people and how they would act in certain situations. And, I feel like that's probably a good place for people to start, Everybody, I put a post on Facebook, and it was kind of got a little satire in there of what was it? The Flint Tropics with Jackie Moon and ELE, man. Everybody love everybody. We're all one, man. We're a human race. We need to get together, and we're a team, man. And until we can love one another, the problem's not going to get solved,
I think, and so where I think this is gonna go personally is I feel that it's gonna be the millennials, the younger generation now, that I believe is gonna eventually change racism. We've had this in this country for so long, for too long. Do I believe it's ever gonna completely be gone? No, I don't. There's always gonna be people who are brought up the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do believe that it's going to be cut down tremendously again, and it's going to be the millennials and the younger generations that's going to have to do it, because they're a lot more cultured. Everybody's pretty much from different walks of life. I mean, most people you're going to encounter now, they're not just white, they're not just Hispanic or Mexican, they're not just black, multiracial.
Yeah.
So again, we're changing, and we're going to live in a different time. So, but I just feel that we all literally just got to stay strong, man. We got to support our brothers, support our sisters, get them through this tough time, and the changes are already being made. They're not all going to come overnight, but it's going to happen, man. And in a sense, and I hope people don't take this the wrong way, I'm kind of glad that what happened, because
it might bring light to
that was the spearhead of everything.
It's
absolutely.
I was kind of talking with somebody the other day, and I was like, man, I just kind of feel like the world's gone soft. You can't really and before I say this, in no means am I saying go out and beat your kids, but it's just kind of the world's gone soft a little bit. Everybody gets a medal and stuff, some kind of going on that whole trend of teachers can't even yell at students now because they're going to get in trouble. And it's like, man, there needs to be some sort of disciplinary actions for people who are just messing up, man. Parents, you need to raise your kids right, man. If they need to know right from wrong. They need to know what's acceptable in society, and they need to have people be a little hard on them. It's what's the quote? Uncoachable kids become unemployable adults, and just so on. It goes on into the world. It's bigger than just that. It's like, and so, it's never going to fully end, unfortunately. But if we can kind of start nipping in the butt and start pointing in the right direction over time, it might get better. That's the dream that we can have and hope to achieve.
I hope so, man. I definitely hope so. So again, to switch gears a little bit, lighten the conversation a little more. Hey, look at you already. Hey, get that hand back. Get that hand back. You see what I'm saying? Fights last night. Let's talk about the local guys, the Colorado guys who fought. First, Ian Heineck. Wow, he looked great.
Looked amazing, man. And it was interesting. I like Ian. We grew up kind of wrestling together. He was a little bit older, but it's good to see somebody that you kind of know and grown up and doing so well, man. You want to root for the guy. It just shows that, like, dude, he can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Any of these little kids watching me can do it. It's just so dominant. I was curious to see, there's a lot of stuff going on. I kind of, through the grapevine, people talk. I heard that Issues left his camp, kind of been with Elevation Genesis, and it might be a good change. I mean, dude, with a dominant win like that, looks like it was a good change for him. Sometimes you just need that.
Yeah. It's kind of what you alluded to earlier about, the almost like having two gyms and being able to go around. He did that, and he showed that was a success last night, and I definitely wish him success in the future. And then we go over to Neil Magny, who had a very tough fight. What was your thoughts on the scorecards?
Man, I just wasn't sure, man, because judges are hard to read, man. Some judges figure a takedown is big time points. Some say if you use it, it counts as big points. But if, say, your opponent, you take somebody down and the opponent gets back up, irrelevant, not much points. But after I'm surprised they showed the boxing stats, the striking stats at the end of the fight, and I didn't realize that Magny outstruck him like that.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until they showed that. So I was a little worried. I mean, all the rounds were close. The third, Neil ran away with it. I would say possibly even a 10-8 round. So
potentially.
The first two, I just wasn't sure what to expect. So I was kind of like, man, I hope he pulls it off, but I just wasn't sure what the judges were going to say with. But it turned out being a pretty dominant fight. I mean, 30-27, 30-27. Then I think one of them had it 29-28. I think it was
that's correct.
So,
yeah, it was
good. He fought a really good fight, and I don't know if you've ever played around with Neil, but that dude can hit you from halfway across the room, So it's like
really, you got them lurch arms.
I felt like that guy had a good strategy. Rocco Martin, I think was his name.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to get in close. You got to take that reach out of it. So it was interesting, trying to break it down like that. And Neil did what he had to do and just kept picking him apart. And I think if it was a 5-round fight, Neil might have been able to get a stoppage just because that guy was starting to break.
Agreed. I agree. And just like they like to talk about on the broadcast, Neil's stamina and cardio is crazy.
Unreal, man. He just he doesn't throw very hard. And they were talking about it in the fight, but you don't have to, man, because whenever you throw so many strikes, man, it's like if you throw every one with the intention to rip this guy's head off, dude, you're going to blow yourself out,
Mm-hmm. And let's go to the other Colorado fighter on the card, which this one hurt my heart a lot because I love this guy. He's such a cool dude, man. Just such a good guy all around. Corey Sandhagen and Aljamain Sterling. Man, that was a tough pill to swallow last night.
I feel for Corey, man, and it hurts because, dude, he's on such an upstreak and such impressive victories against such high level athletes. Man, just you want the guy to do good, man. And a win right there probably gives him a title shot. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Can you count him out? So that sucks, man. You want to see all the Colorado guys do good, and unfortunately, it didn't go his way. But Corey's a good athlete, man. He'll bounce back as he has before, and it's not the end of the road for him, man. He's fine.
No, definitely not. He's still young, and he's good.
He's really young. He takes care of himself, and so just diverse. I really wish we could have seen more on the feet, because I think that's where Corey excels, man. It's getting to work with him. It's just so fun to play with him because of the way he moves, and his striking is just such on another level, unparalleled. People don't strike like that. So I would have
fluid,
smooth, yeah. And if for people who have never, so you kind of see it in his fights until you feel it, man. It's a really hard thing to understand and comprehend what we're saying. But man, I know he'll bounce back, and he's going to be better than ever. He's going to be hungry, and it's just you want to see the guy succeed, So
yeah, he'll definitely be back. So you guys definitely keep a lookout for Corey Sandhagen. He's coming back for sure. Now, I'm sorry, but this was so crazy. The at the buzzer knockout,
dude. That woo. Wow, that was nuts, dude. He literally winded that thing from the back of his ass, and it was just so cool because he kind of taunted him a little bit, ducked, and just I love the replay where you see his eyes; they're still looking exactly as you should, and he just ripped everything into that. And, dude, he knocked him into the next universe, man. That was wow.
That was insane.
I just you see a knockout. I tell people this. I had some people over and we were all watching the fights. I'm like, that is the type of shit that sometimes scares you. You're like, makes me glad I got to see it, because now it's yo, dude, keep those fucking hands up, dude. Don't be.
No matter how much time is left on the clock.
No, you keep them up, man, until that last whistle blows or the bell rings, dude. You've got to be ready to fight. You got to be protecting yourself at all times. It was really cool to see, though. Damn, as a fight fan, I guarantee that's viral. I mean, it went viral 5 minutes after it happened.
Immediately. And just the bantamweights last night, man. The show that they put on, all the bantamweight fights were amazing. They were great.
I think the thing that was just really crazy is this was probably a couple minutes after, and they tried to pull a Sun Sao up on the chair. He couldn't even sit in the chair. He was falling off the chair, dude. Still, I was like, wow. And Garbrandt knew it was going to be. It was hard to go one up O'Malley's knockout.
Yes,
I think he did it. I would say,
yeah, no doubt.
Too, no discredit to him, because that was badass. But dude, how do you? He might have broken. I mean. Neck, dude, geez.
He peeled the sticker off the mat when he threw that one.
Yeah, dude. That was.
And it was just good to see Garbrandt get back on the in the win column after getting knocked out finished 3 straight fights
back to back. I mean, granted, tough fighters, and just it happens, but. Dude, I like Garbrandt. I'm a fan of his. I like the way that he fights. He fights with the intention to end fights. And kind of, I think he needed that a little bit. It kind of just, he seems he seems hungry. He's focused. And he's a force, bro. So it's I'm curious to see how he kind of bounces back, and how that that division is stacked. So how does it play out? how does it play out? I don't know. There's a lot of interesting matchups that you can put together now.
Let's get to some questions here in the comments. First question we got from Alvino Gonzales is McGregor retiring or negotiating?
Negotiating. You know that guy's all about money, man. Like, I don't blame him, you know, but he's made a lot of money. So I'm kind of like, at what point do you make so much money that you're set for life? Little Connor's set for life. I mean, do you really need to negotiate? Or is he just trying to stay relevant? I mean, shit, man, he had the opportunity to fight Gaethje. He turned it down, man, and bit him in the ass. So he's
I agree. I definitely think he's negotiating. I think he's just trying to use a tactic, but a lot of these guys are doing that right now, but I just think they picked the wrong time to do it. You got guys like John Jones, Masvidal.
There's a pandemic. There's, rioting, looting, and just, there's fighters out there 10-0, largely unchallenged. Just, I'd fight for anything right now, you know? And out there saying, I want more money, you know? So I'm just kind of like, UFC, what's up, dude? You know, how else do I put it?
You know, so you're not much of a trash talker. You don't talk a lot of shit. You know, you're not too active on your social media. Do you think that, but in today's age with everything, do you think that almost like hinders you in a sense? I know that's not something you want to do, is almost like change your character and stuff like that. But do you think, you know, with you even potentially doing so would help you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's something I'm still learning, but I don't want to be fake because that's not who I am. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm kind of a little bit fed up. So I'm like, what do I got to do? Like, you know, do I got to call out the whole division? Do I give me somebody I'm supposed to lose to and I'll show you how to beat them? I don't know. What else do you want me to, like? I can only control myself, so I can only do so much. But, you know, you got to stay humble. You got to stay hungry. And I'm not really much of a trash talker, but there are some guys like, you know, I'm here to fight, man. I'm here to win. I'm here to get paid. And just that's what I'm here for, you know. But I'm also learning that, like, this is a business. This is you got to be a showman a little bit. You got to be, I guess, I don't know what another word for a showman would be.
So it's not even really so much being a showman, man. It's just as you said, you like, what else do I got to do? Like, do I got to call these people out? Like, it gets to the point where you're like, hey, you know, I'm sick of y'all overlooking me. You know, give me my fucking shot. You know, you're top guy over here. I'll whoop his ass. Like, honestly, bro, it's not so much trash talking. It's just being real. You know what I'm saying? And being honest with what you're feeling. You know what I mean? Like, not looking to make fans, but looking to make money. You know what I'm saying? Looking to make a legacy, because I'm sure that's why you're doing it at the end of the day. As you said, your loyal followers is your loyal followers, and that's your loyal people. And they're going to stay your people regardless of whether you get your ass whooped, whether you say 20 million things that you want to say or say nothing at all. You know what I mean? Like, my opinion, if an option was to come along for you to go to, especially with the division you're in, go to like Bellator, for an example. Bellator's 145 division is crazy.
It's stacked.
Crazy.
Crazy. Just I'm not against it, dude. Bellator, what's up?
I'm just saying, that's where I see you personally.
It's you know, and with everything going on with the UFC, it's just, there's a lot, and I don't want to bash on the company, but you know, I'm sure it's hard to run a multi-billion-dollar company. There's a lot going on that even probably is above my education. So but like, you know, with everything going on of these fighters, I don't disagree with them holding out. And I'm like, you know, if they think they're worth more money, and some of these guys I think are, dude, pay them. You know, the UFC is one of the only companies, I even think like the NFL splits it 50-50 between all their athletes and whoever else. Revenue, yeah. So I'm like, I think the UFC is like 80-20. I could be wrong. It's something along those lines.
I believe so. I listened to George Masvidal's interview earlier, and he said it was 18% that the fighters get.
Yeah. See, so I was close. It's just like, that guy's hot right now, man. Look, that flash knockout knee over Askren, the fight over Diaz, man, I think that guy deserves to get paid, bro. You know, but then it's also like, you know, I'm sitting here pretty much begging for a shot with whoever, man. Let's talk. Pay me some money, man. I just like, you're not gonna regret it. I'm telling you, man. I'll take over and I'll win that belt. It's I might not be the most entertaining fighter, but I win fights. People like me. I feel like I'm a likable guy. I'm down to earth. I'm real. I'm not out there getting in trouble. I'm not out there causing more havoc and making you guys look bad. So I'm like, let's fucking do this, man. What else? I mean, it's pretty simple, really.
Yeah, it's really cut and dry with that, honestly, and you're absolutely right. And see, that's the type of attitude, you know, that I feel that a lot of fighters, you know, have to have at this point because of clearly where we're at with this pandemic, you know, and a lot of guys not getting their shot because, you know, people are so one-dimensional or whatever the case may be, you know.
Maybe I accidentally kicked his dog or something. Who knows, man? There maybe I couldn't tell you.
I mean, and I hate to come back to that, man, just because I'm sure it stings even still to hear like, yo, man, like that's not me, you know, like that's not even the type of fight that I put on. But you know, you'll get your chance, man. When you get to get face to face with the guy, you know, at some point, you know, you get your chance to let him know, you know, and by that time, hey, maybe he gonna realize he made a mistake, and then there's your opportunity right there.
Some of my good friends who are on a little bit higher level than I'm at right now even said too, is like, you know, UFC isn't the only promotion, and you know, you go show your worth on maybe a higher level, and you keep bumping up your record, then they're gonna have no choice but to have to pay you. So they could have got me a little bit cheaper, but you know, you find me 4 or 5 fights down the road where I'm still winning, knocking people out, doing what I do. Man, that puts me at 15-0, you know, 14, 15-0. And then it's like, now you don't have a choice. You want me, you're going to have to pay, you know, which.
Exactly. and a perfect example of that is another Colorado guy, Justin Gaethje. 18-0 before he went to the UFC.
It's funny that you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, he's the one that told you that. Yeah,
he told me this a lot, actually, and it's just something that stiff with me. And so
no, and he's 1,000% right, because he went through it. He did it, you know, and again, that's kind of why I had even mentioned the whole Bellator thing, and even now with the LFA. You know, I mean, LFA is cool, but they're just like they to me are a farm system for the UFC. Basically, what they are to me. They're not a direct competitor.
The LFA.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. They're sending people all over, man. Whether it's UFC, Bellator, One. I mean, dude, and there's options on the table. So it's like, you know, I just really want this whole COVID pandemic nonsense to get going. I just want to fight, man. It's like, dude, I'm getting antsy. I miss my life, dude. I just and for like, it didn't change, but it's like, you know, I just want to compete, man, and start like, I feel like I should be a lot further in my career right now, and sitting here being 10-0, beating the best guys I could find, like. When it comes up to that thing again, I'm like, what else do I got to do, man? And you know, it's I'm not knocking any. I'm not like counting out any offers. So like, any promotion wants to talk, hit me up. We'll do this.
Let's do it. Now let's switch gears again just a little bit here. Heard you said you're in a relationship. You got a girlfriend, correct?
I do. Sorry, ladies. I'm taken. You know.
So you done piss somebody off.
Like, that's it. I'm logging off. This guy.
I thought he was cute until now, but now look at this. So you kind of alluded to, you know, her working in Greeley and ended up staying with you for a little while because of the whole COVID situation. Has this whole situation helped the relationship at all? Has it hurt it? You know, how has that went?
You know, it's funny, man. she kind of she gets what my life's all about. She knows. I mean, I've been with her off and on for a couple years now, and just she knows what I want to do, man. She knows I want to fight. She knows what I'm about, man. She sees what I put myself through, man. So it's sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I kind of have to put her on the back burner so I can do these things, like travel up to Denver to get those rounds, and just I'm gone all the time. But at the end of the night, she's there and I'm here. She's the one laying in my bed with me. So it's just like, you know, she knows what it's about. She knows I got her back and she's got mine. And sometimes I think that's the bigger issue is like, you know, there's a lot of people out there who kind of like, oh, you're J-Train, you're that fighter, yada, yada. You're hot right now. You're big. You're going to make it. I'm like, yeah, I am. But like, you're scandalous. You just want me because I'm J-Train.
Yeah, exactly.
Me because I'm Justin. You know, there's a difference, and for some people who might not get that, it's I'm still Justin at the end of the day. You know, I think it's helped. It's she's over here all the time, anyways. Like, I mean, dude, she comes over, she checks on JJ whenever she gets off of work. She gets to come home. She comes here for lunch, makes something to eat, lets JJ out, checks on him, makes sure he's good, and then she's over here all the time anyways. So I think it was kind of cool just to kind of get an outlook and her being around a lot more. Just I'm at her place, she's always at mine, so we know how each other live and stuff like that. But sometimes I'm like, woman, no.
Give me 3 feet. I need 3 feet right now, please.
You know, we have our arguments. It's just with any relationship, it's going to be there. But more often than not, it's just me being a jerk and just, I don't know, whatever. But
is it always just you being a guy?
More often than not, yeah, pretty much.
Again, and there's some quotation. Again, it's not stating that like most guys are out doing things, but I just say that because most women, when something happens, they're just being, you're just you're being typical. You're a regular guy.
Just like everybody else. It's we bicker. It's just being around each other all the time. But for the most part, we had some issues in the past with just like communication. We communicate in different ways. And now I think it's better. We've worked on it. And now it's kind of like, yo, dude, if something's bugging you, you need to speak up because I'm not a mind reader. You can't read my mind. I would hope that you put 2 and 2 together. I'm a pretty simple guy. If something's bugging me, you're going to know. But I'm going to tell you about it. But it's also just little stupid things like.
Yeah. See, and most of the time, that's how like the fights start. It's just because like most of the time, like in most relationships, you fight over the dumbest, stupidest, littlest things that mean nothing.
It's literally like, damn it, babe, why'd you squeeze a little of the toothpaste? You know I like it rolled from the bottom. Like, what do you think? You live in a barn? I don't know, something stupid like that.
It just turns into like
it escalates
craziness.
And then things come up and it's I'd say
it's tough, man.
She gets mad at me. It'd be more so because if I'm on the go all the time and then I don't really like come and put forth an effort to like make sure that she feels loved and appreciated like she should because she does a lot for me. It's like really like she helps me meal prep. She'll make my lunches and she really is a big factor in making sure that all my stuff is taken care of. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a baby. I take care of my own and I do stuff, but it's just I'm busy, man. Like people don't realize like working a lot of these people don't work a full-time job. So I got to work a full-time job and then I squeeze in training. And then so more often than not, leave my house anywhere from 6:15 to about 6:30, 6:40. I don't get home till 9, 10 o'clock at night, man. Just depends. So it's like, it's hard. So having a significant other who backs me up is definitely helped my life a lot easier.
Because that's basically 3 full-time jobs: working, training, and a relationship.
Yeah, it really is, man. And people like, you know, if you want something, you'll make it. If you want something bad enough, you'll make it happen. You'll find ways, you'll put forth the effort, and you'll make it happen. And
Absolutely.
at one point in time, it was just like, damn, dude, I'm just so tired, so exhausted. It was really hard to balance all three, and then a social life, and then just trying to get the house situated and stuff like that, man.
Mhm.
Life hits you, and when it rains, it pours. But you know, I'm glad things kind of. I think this pandemic kind of really slowed things down and let you kind of get caught back up on everything. So
Yeah, and the biggest thing that it's done to me, like, and again, and this is just for when I say relationships too, like it's not always just your relationship with your significant other. This is relationships with your friends, your family, and everything. It's really shown me that like I was always big on trust and loyalty. You know,
absolutely,
thinking that that's number one, like that's top, like that's it. But a lot of this stuff, you know, and a lot of things that's happened over my life over the past year, like it's not like that's not the top thing. That's not number one. It's what you alluded to earlier, communication.
yeah,
You know, without that communication, you can't have that trust. You can't develop that loyalty if there is no communication, you know. And as you said, you know, with you being able to communicate and you guys changing your communication stuff, that's clearly helped the relationship a lot more than hindering it from the past. So
yeah.
definitely keep that in mind, man, with everything. And like I said, that's with everybody, with your friends or whatever. You
And
know?
you know, it's honestly helped me in life too. It's like, you know, just some miscommunication
Mhm.
can cause so many issues. And loyalty is a big thing of mine too. So it's like the loyalty issue. I'm not worried about my people being loyal. They are. They would ride for me. They would die for me. If I asked them to bend over backwards for me, even though I don't like to do that, they would. And it's no questions asked, man. I know they would. So, but it's just like with work, communication, with just friends, and just getting the point across of like, hey, if this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. Like I can't because I got this, and you know, just trying to balance that life is a really hard thing to do sometimes. But you know, it's also like,
It is.
dude, you gotta live your life too, man. And you know, if you don't make mistakes, then you know you're probably not gonna learn. It's kind of like life's a trial and error, man. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, we've all done that. You know, like again, and that's something that I've learned from. You know, and even from a situation that you and I, you know, we're almost involved in a sense with knowing some of the same people, some mistakes that were made. Like I've learned my lessons from them. You know, and you know,
Not say any names, but like you know,
exactly. But you know, and but that's good though, man, because you know, even some stuff that I had heard again from the past, from previous from this situation that we're talking about, like it just seems like a lot has changed on your end, and clearly that's made things better for the better.
yeah,
You know,
really.
just
Um,
based off of that.
you know, don't get me wrong, man. I'm still a knucklehead sometimes. I like to go have some fun, and I just do some stuff that I like. Yeah, you know, I go out and have some beers. I go hang out with my friends. I'm a normal guy, man. So don't put me on this pedestal, or don't put me like I'm not, man. 'Cause I do stupid stuff all the damn time. But it's just helps guide me, staying hungry, man. Remember what my goals are and stuff, and just like having my good family, good friends, good girl under my arms, man. It just really, it's bigger than just me, man. I'm trying to take care of a lot of people, you know, and I want to make that happen. So it's I don't know, man. It's just we're gonna see how this game plays out, man. And just first things first, I just need another fight, man. It's whoever
Yeah.
wants it, man. Whoever wants to take my O, come and get it, man. Let's just if you think you can.
I mean, apparently nobody does. Hence why ain't nobody called your name? Ain't nobody called you to come fight? And it's crazy too because with this with everything that's going on with this UFC, like they're calling like people that are not even in the organization to come take fights at all weights.
And you know, man, it blows my mind, man. Like I don't something that we kind of almost got on it last night. Saw some of my tweets and stuff. Man, for everybody who watched the 145-pound fight last night, I fuck both those dudes up, man. I just like I watched this, and even some of the 45-pound fights, and like I'm not trying to be disrespectful to none of those guys. I'm sure they worked very hard, but like I deserve this, man. One guy was like 15-12. He's almost a five.
Yeah.
I'm 100%, bro. I'm 10-0. Like And sure, that other guy Hooper was 9-1-1 now, but I'm like, I mean, I don't want to bash on him because he's never done nothing to me, but I don't understand, man. I don't know.
You just got to call a spade a spade. You know, it is what it is.
Man, I'd end both those guys.
And now it's that Chase Hooper and Alex Caceres. And Alex Caceres has been in the UFC for a long time from the Ultimate Fighter.
And you know, I'm just like, good for them, but like I'm like just levels beyond them both.
Well, maybe that just goes to show kind of what they're looking for too, because I mean, Caceres, as we were talking about, he's been in the UFC for a while, but I think the reason that he stayed there, you know, a long time is because he's a gimmick.
Yeah, he has this little, what's his Bruce Leroy, just kind of like this.
Yeah, yeah, a little.
Oh, I mean, maybe I need a little hand gesture.
I've seen you get a little cocky before. I've actually seen some of those in some of your fights. So
it's you know, this game is fun, and you know, it makes it really interesting being 10-0. Sometimes you get worried about that O is so important, but at the same time, it's still like I joined this sport because I wanted to have fun, and I told myself whenever I started, like towards the end of my wrestling career, just wasn't enjoying it anymore, man. And I was just like, it was just all about the weight cut, and I just was like, so I kind of made myself a promise of like, yo, dude, whenever I stop enjoying this, like, you don't have to do this. You choose to do this. You're here because you want to do this. And you enjoy this. Like whenever you stop having fun, man, it's just like you don't want to do it. Nobody's making you do this. So myself, that was it. And as you start getting bigger and kind of on this, you're so close, you know, it changes from being fun to being more of a career. So it's interesting, but like I'm not saying by any means I'm close to retiring, man. I got belts to win, I got money to make, you know. So let's do it. But
exactly, you got to leave one of those full-time jobs alone and just make this a full-time job. So what are you doing? Because I do know you do have a bachelor's in exercise science and health promotion. What do you do? Are you using your degree?
I use it every day, man. This is I got my bachelor's in exercise science and health promotion, and then so that was just like a general liberal thing, and then I got my emphasis in education. So like I could be a teacher, I could be I started doing my certification athletic in personal training, and you know, it's just not really the route I want to go. But like, you know, at some point it might just strengthen my resume. But like I use it every day in fighting, man. It's just like I understand biomechanics. I understand why you can't do some of these things, and like just a slight angle change could produce a lot more power and just footwork. So it's like, you know, unknowingly every fighter uses it every day, but maybe I just have a little bit more knowledge on it than the average, you know. So yeah, I mean, like, dude, I don't have to fight. I got a good job now that pays me really well. I could go be a teacher, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. They take care of their teachers out here. You get benefits, you get paid well. It's fun. I mean, dude, come on, man. Who's gonna say being a PE teacher wouldn't be one of the most badass jobs in the world, man? You go play some dodgeball.
I couldn't do it, man. I would be the most crooked PE teacher out there. So in high school, like our PE, like two of our PE teachers, I think we had like upwards like 3 or 4 like total. We would literally just like for 2 of them, we would literally ditch class. Like we would ditch math class and go down to the gym it was called team sports and just hoop.
Just play.
Teacher be cool with it.
Yeah, whatever. We do the same thing at ours.
That would be me.
At Northridge was the wrestling coach. So
man.
Occasionally I'd ditch class and I didn't want to go home or something because I had to go to my next class. So I'd go hang out with him. He didn't care. He's no longer with us. Rest his soul. B. You're my dude, man. I love that guy. That guy taught me a lot of lessons. But it's fun. It's fun because like the whole thing I was saying about like you meet these people and you make these connections. And whenever I did my student teaching, now I did my student teaching at Windsor Middle School with a good friend of mine, Barry Mock. I hope you watch this. Give you some love.
Hell yeah, shout out.
Speaking of Mock, I gotta show that guy some love, man. That guy has like 10 middle school state titles in wrestling as a coach, so it's unheard of to have that. And he was gonna retire this past year, and they didn't. They canceled the season, kind of like shut down schools because of all the COVID nonsense. So he's like, I can't go out like that. Just might get another title, and if I don't, I'm gonna give it another couple years. So got a little off topic there, but
no, you're good.
It's just kind of forgot what we were talking about now. Sorry.
Let me just ask you this, because you get into the whole wrestling thing. So, what were your thoughts when they canceled the NCAA championships? Literally, like what was I want to say, less than a week before?
Less than a week. It was. I got some friends down at D2, because I went to CSU Pueblo as well. So for those of you who don't know, I'm and CSU Pueblo, but they were out at the tournament. They had four guys I think qualify. And they were going to do their last workout of the night, day before weigh-ins. And as they were about to leave the hotel, that's when they got word. So it's like, that's a bad, it sucks, man. It's just like, I feel for those guys who committed their whole life to this, and they're seniors, and maybe they're good enough to be an NCAA All-American, but maybe they're done. They don't want to pursue Olympics, and that's it. That's what they wanted, was just an All-American recognition. I mean, dude, I've been wrestling since I was 8 years old, and I was never an All-American in college. Some people just never reach that goal that they have. And the people who had the opportunities, I don't know, let's name drop, like Spencer Lee. He will never be a 4-time state champ, tore his ACL as a senior, lost his last match in high school, 3-time state champ and a runner-up. He was on his route to be a 4-time national champion in D1. Now he will never be able to get that.
It's ironic that you bring up Spencer Lee too, because I had my cousin, my little cousin, who made the tournament. He's a 25er as well.
Familiar with it, dude. He's a gangster, man. And he qualified this year as a freshman, right?
Yeah, he qualified.
So, like, dude.
No. He was a redshirt junior this year.
Oh, he's a redshirt. I felt like he was a lot younger. I'm sorry, but either way,
he looks like a baby.
He doesn't really have facial hair. He's still got a baby face.
Mm-hmm.
He's a gangster, dude, and qualified for the tournament. And he had a good season, man. There's a good chance he squeezed in there an All-American this year. There's a really
great chance. And he probably gave Spencer Lee, and he wrestled Spencer this year too. He probably gave him his best match.
He's the only person to take him down this year. As a matter of fact, maybe I'm wrong. But I know that. Couldn't tell you. I'm a fan of wrestling.
Hey man, but I personally, I appreciate you even knowing that, man, because the biggest thing for me for that kid, man, because again, since he was, since he could put on a singlet or whatever, his mom, and his stepfather had him into it, just going, man, and that's all he ever cared about, man, was becoming an All-American and potential national champion. And you don't get that. They don't get that year of eligibility back, which sucks.
And I'm like, man, there's so many different things, and it's hard, man. It's like maybe there's a lot of different things the NCAA could have done. Maybe they just brought back the people who qualified and make the next year even just that much stronger. But I mean, there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of different things that, like I said, I don't know enough how the NCAA, what they would all have to do to even comment on it. But it's just, damn, dude. Like, I feel for those guys. Like, Colorado wrestler Ryan Deacon. Dude, that dude was probably going to be NCAA champ this year. And I think he has one more year. I may be mistaken. I might be wrong. I think he has one more year of eligibility.
He does.
He can still accomplish that goal, but like, what happens? I mean, this is just a year. Like, he could have more, and he was robbed of that. And so I wish the NCAA would have handled it a little differently, or maybe I don't know, man. There's a lot of different ways you could do it, and I don't have a plan that I could say would just be work right off the
Yeah.
head. But damn, I feel for those guys. It's like you work.
I still feel
understand.
that they have an opportunity to fix it.
Yeah.
It's not too late.
Too late. It's not too late. Absolutely not too late. Just, I mean, it'd be really hard or to expect everybody to be able to train with all the regulations and stuff. But like, dude, now that things are up and running, you could still have an NCAA tournament. You know, it's just, I mean, are a lot of different options. You know, who am I to say? But you know, there's a lot of different options out there.
You just said it right there. You could still have a tournament. I mean, look at the NBA. The NBA is going back with an eight game regular season before they go to the playoffs, and that's not till July 31st.
Yeah, so it's still months out. You know, it's So damn, it's being a guy who has committed his life to something, and I sacrifice and I do the right things, make the right choices, and you give up a lot of these things that might be a lot more fun or you want to do because you have dreams and goals and your passion for the sport. And I feel for these guys getting robbed of something that they deserve, you know. It sucks.
One other question too. Where you get your ink done? I see you're kind of tatted, man. I like it.
This is my guy, dude. RNG Body Art. There's my homies, Mr. Vasquez, Mr. Ricky Mayo. So I got a little religious sleeve here, you know. I don't know if you can see. I'm trying to move around, but it's kind of funky up here. They're in Loveland, Colorado.
That damn greedy Wi-Fi.
I got
okay. We didn't ask you to flex, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You know, I was trying to.
You know? I mean, we didn't ask you to flex. I mean, I'll go ahead and keep that down. I don't want to hurt your feelings. No, listen, man. But again, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I mean, you've already given us an hour and a half of your time, man, and we truly do appreciate it. You know, I want to let you enjoy the rest of your day in Greeley. You know, just make sure you put your mask on. You don't want to smell all that cow smell.
Hey, man, it smells good, man. This is makes me hungry. You know.
Hey, so actually, ironically, you said that I'll actually be out in Greeley in 2 weeks. I'll be out in Denver. And I'll be in Greeley, so I'm gonna hit you up. Make sure you spark barbecue grill.
Hey, dude, I don't know if you can see this. Which way am I going? I got the grill right there, dude. I'm ready. I'm gonna throw some steaks on here in a couple hours. We're gonna grub down tonight. So anytime, man. You know you're welcome.
Yeah, man, definitely. I'll be out there because the last time I was out there, I lost you. We were at it was for the 4th of July,
the Stampede,
I believe, and you were at some concert, and then I just couldn't get a hold of you after that. You're like, I'm in here. I'm like, dude, I'm not about to go into this place.
I love the Stampede, but I'm low key happy that it's not going this year because that brings out the worst in people. It's just nonsense, man. It's fun. So it was really fun last year coming back from the contender fight, and everybody's just like, man, it felt good. I felt a lot of love from Greeley coming out there. So it was a cool time last year.
Hey, so let everybody know where they can follow you on your social media as well.
Yo, guys, if you guys want to follow me, it's pretty simple. All my social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, JTrain_1991. If you're on Snapchat, it's the same thing. You can follow my fan page on Facebook at JTrain MMA. Man, just give me a shout, man. I'm pretty down to earth. I'll talk to anybody. You guys got questions? You got comments? I mean, you want to talk fights? You want to talk what I'm picking? I put some money down on the fights last night. Came up like $140 up. So, it was a good night. Nunes would have got the
But now that I know you like
more, I was a little upset she couldn't put her away. But, it happens.
Listen, shout out to Felicia Spencer, though. My God, she's so tough.
Dude, she took a pounding, man, and she kept coming, It's just I give that girl some credit, man, because she's got a heart of a lion, man. She's a gangster, and It just
Yes.
the way it goes. She's like Logan said, it's just not in her skill set yet, and she could get there with time. But it's like it just makes you question like who's left for Amanda Nunes. She's ran through everybody. 45.
She's got to fight
the best of.
She's got to fight Valentina Shevchenko again
for a third time.
I believe. Listen. No. Now I believe Valentina easily won one of them, and it was so close the other fight that she could have won that one as well. I don't believe that Nunes deserved both of those victories over her at all.
I would have liked to see a 1-1, and I'd still like to see a trilogy, dude, because Valentina Shevchenko is a gangster, you know. Kudos for her, man. The more you start learning about her, it's like she is a really impressive person. She speaks 3 different languages fluently. She world champ MMA. She can dance. I mean, dude, that chick is a gangster. So I'm all about seeing her. So
big fan of her, man. Hey, and now that I know you make bets on fights, you know, next card, I'm gonna definitely call you. We're gonna have some fun.
Oh, let's talk, man. You know, I'll give my insight for sure. You know, pick my Colorado boys and
listen. So don't be surprised on everybody if you see Justin on my Instagrams or even on the show's Instagram doing push-ups, sending me cash app, you know, for money from paying up from bets because I don't lose.
You know,
okay.
If
in anything,
follows, neither do I. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, man, you're gonna be doing a lot of push-ups, and I'm gonna be putting you on blast a lot with that. So just be ready.
And I'll count as training purposes, you know, and you know, I think I might have to tag you, seeing some of you doing some push-ups, maybe some Venmo, you know, whatever it may be, you know. Anybody else? Let's do it. I like to socialize. I'm a social butterfly. So you guys know JTrain_1991. Hit me up anytime, any questions, comments, concerns, whatever it may be, man. Just let's talk, man. I'll talk anything. I'm social butterfly.
All right, Justin, man. Well, again, man, thanks for your time today, man. I do appreciate it. I'm gonna let you get back to enjoying your Sunday. It looks really beautiful out there in Colorado. I'm jealous. I'm gonna head out to this hot desert heat. I think it's like 103 or 100 and something out there right now.
You be safe out there, brother.
So it's time to get the rest of this day going, man. But again, I appreciate your time, brother. Much love, much respect. I'll get with you soon.